So I was checking my email the other day, and I got an email from a company called bestarc, and they asked me if I wanted to try out their plasma cutter. And at first I was like, no, I don't want you to send me stuff. I'm not really interested. But then I was like, well, I want a plasma cutter, and this is a good opportunity for me to try out one that I think is a very affordable entry-level plasma cutter. I'm not doing production work. I'm not really even, I don't even know if I can cut with a plasma cutter. I have done it a long time ago. I haven't used one recently. So I'm going to open this one up, show you guys what it comes with, what the instructions look like, and then tell you what I think as to whether or not this is a good purchase for around the $250 price tag that it's got currently. This is bestarc. The model is BTC 500DP 7 Gen. So it says that it is either 110 or 220 volts. And what it comes with is the plasma cutter, the cutting torch, the ground clamp, 2 cutting tips, 2 electrodes, an air hose, a wire adapter, and 2 hose clamps. And the description is, it is a 50 amp pilot arc plasma cutter. It has a 60% duty cycle on either voltage, 50 or 60 hertz high frequency, an LED screen, built-in air regulator and filter, pilot arc and post time adjustment, 1T or 4T touch trigger control. It came packaged very nice. It's got nice shrink wrap on the outside of the box, and the box is more of a testament to the shipping company than bestarc, but the box is in really good shape. It seems like a good box. So it says on here the rated output is 15 to 50 amps for quality cutting, 12 millimeters, so around a ½ inch. Single phase, yeah, none of the rest of that means anything. So let's open it up and see what we got inside. So it's got really nice packaging. And we have a plasma cutter. It's really small, not very heavy. Comes with your standard 220 plug-in. I think that's all that's in there. Yep, that's it. Okay, so let's see what's in this box. Got a hose. There's the ground clamp. It does come with a converter to convert this over to 110 power. Thread tape and a couple of fittings, some hose clamps. A little tool. And a book of some kind. So it looks like they possibly offer this in straight 220 voltage as well. Bunch of safety tips as far as your working environment, and it's got a wide. You can use it in up to 80% humidity and between -14 and 104 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's good to know. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff, safety stuff. Tells you basically how a plasma cutter works. I'm going to read through this, and then we're going to set this up, and we're going to plug it in and see if we can cut something. It's pretty self-explanatory. The ground clamp plugs in one spot, in a spot where it's meant, you can see it's meant to plug in there. The red lead out of your cutting torch goes to the stud with the nut. The little connector, I mean, it's straightforward. It's in the instructions. It's super easy to put together. I did look, the consumables for this, it has AG60 consumables, and they are readily available. I don't know if you will be able to find them at your local welding shop or anywhere, but you can get them on Amazon where this comes from several different brands, and they're not super expensive. Unfortunately, I don't have any 1/8 inch plate. All I have is this little piece of 1/8 inch flat stock. So I guess we're gonna give it a shot with that. You should wear appropriate glasses or you know, a shield or a helmet or something when you're using a plasma cutter. I'm not sure what the appropriate is, so I'm gonna leave that up to you. Just make sure you're wearing appropriate shaded eye protection. I'm gonna wear some sunglasses and we'll see. This probably isn't dark enough. And you also wanna have some gloves on. Let me find my gloves. I don't wanna put my welding helmet on because I don't think I'll be able to see, but if it feels bright with these sunglasses on, I will get my welding helmet. But I don't think you actually need a welding helmet for a plasma cutter. I could be wrong. Don't take my word for it. So I'm gonna level with you guys. I have tried to record this video 5 times at least. And every time, as soon as I start cutting, the audio it just corrupts the audio on the file. So I decided what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna film it in clips. And I'm gonna film clips of cutting each of the metals. I actually already filmed clips of cutting each of the different thicknesses of metals. And then I'm going to talk through it, insert the footage of cutting it with no microphone attached. So hopefully maybe the audio will be there. Maybe when I didn't really talk, I just cut. And then I'll just talk you through what this machine is doing for me. And secondly, at the end of the last clip that had audio, the first time I shot it, which I'm leaving all that in there because that's the unboxing and going over everything, I was discussing eye protection. You absolutely need shaded eye protection when using a plasma cutter. There's charts online, depending on the amperage of the machine or the amperage that you're using, how dark the shade needs to be. My welding helmet does not go that low. I have torch goggles, and I don't know what shade they are, but they're darker than sunglasses. So that out of the way, let's talk about how it cut. So now I'm gonna show you the cuts, and I'm just gonna tell you the material that we cut, the settings that we used, insert the footage of cutting it, and then we'll show you the result. So the first thing was 18 gauge galvanized steel, 20 PSI, 15 amps. Okay, well, my clamp got in the way, so the cut's not perfectly straight, but that has nothing to do with the machine. So this is the cut, and then right here I've knocked the slag off. Made a pretty good cut. The next thing we cut was 1/8 inch at 20 amps and 30 PSI. There's the cut. Pretty clean cut, I would say. The slag knocks right off. I didn't try this. I just wanted to show you the slag that was left and what it looks like after you just take a chisel and knock it off there. This is 1/4 inch, 35 amps, 45 PSI. All right, and there's the cut. This is the mess from the other one. Slag, I mean, there's some slag there, but it knocks right off with the chisel, made a nice cut. The next thing we cut was 3/8 at 35 amps and 45 PSI. And there's that cut there. The slag knocked right off. Pretty good. That's the maximum, well, 10 millimeter is the maximum clean cutting thickness for this machine on 110 volts and actually even on 220. The maximum cutting thickness or severance thickness for this machine is 12 millimeter on 110 volts. I don't have any 12 millimeter, so I went ahead and used some 1/2 inch. This is 1/2 inch cut on 110 volts, 35 amps, 65 PSI. Left a lot of slag, but I was able to knock the slag off. Most of it was pretty good. Over here, I started to get a little fast and it wasn't getting all the way through. So this is probably my fault, but that's a pretty decent cut considering that's just supposed to sever and not be a clean cut. We also cut some aluminum. I had a piece of 24 gauge. Set the machine at 15 amps and 20 PSI, which is its lowest setting on 110 volts. I would never cut 24 gauge with the plasma cutter, but I wanted to see if it would do it. There's the result of that cut. Left some slag, but it's not too bad. You could clean it up with the file, but honestly, I would just cut this with tin snips. I don't think I would get the plasma cutter out for it. We also cut some 1/8 inch aluminum. We set the machine the same as we did for steel, 20 amps, 30 PSI. Here's the result of that. I tried to clean the slag off the same way as I was on the steel. It doesn't seem to clean it up as well, but it wouldn't take much to knock that off with the file. It's a pretty decent cut. Then we switched to 220 volts. The first thing we cut was a piece of 3/8. We set the machine at 50 amps and 55 PSI. Here's the result of that cut. I mean, it's pretty good. There's the slag, but it knocks right off with the chisel. When I cut the 1/2 inch, 220, 50 amps, 60 PSI, Here's the result of that. I mean, that's a pretty clean cut. It's not exactly even, but pretty good. And there's the slag from that. When I tapped it off, the whole piece fell off all in one piece. Then, just for fun, I didn't have any 5/8, which is the maximum severance thickness this machine's rated at on 220 volts. So I went ahead and tried some 3/4. I set the machine at 50 amps and 70 PSI, and unfortunately the footage for that didn't actually get, I don't know. I don't know if I didn't hit record or the camera shut off, my phone got hot, I'm not sure. Anyway, here's the result of that. It cut through that 3/4. It's not perfectly straight. That could have been me. And there's the piece of slag. It all came off in one piece, and it was on this side. Not too bad. So what do I think? I think it's a good machine. I think it does what it says it will do, and I haven't used a lot of plasma cutters, but from what I remember, it works the same as all the other ones I've used. I don't remember what brands they were. I'm really happy with it. And if you're looking for an entry-level plasma cutter to use in your home garage, if you only have 110 volts, you can cut up to, well, you can cut up to 1/2 inch. Halfway decent. Well, not that one. It was that cut. Still pretty good. I mean, if you just needed to lop a piece off. I'm not very good with a torch, so that would take less cleanup for me than if I tried to cut this with my torch. So I hope you got something out of that. If you want to see how long it lasts, stay tuned to the channel because we will be using it for the projects that we work on around here. See ya.